You don't gain confidence by shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by giving yourself a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. Outwork your self-doubt. And again, a lot of the tweets that I have are notes to self, because like I have a big presentation coming up. We got 500,000 people who are registered for this book launch that are coming out, and I'm thinking to myself, it's like, how can I guarantee that when I step off stage, no matter what happens, I feel like I've accomplished, that I've done a good job, that I can look at myself in the mirror and say, good work. And when I was younger, I used to have no way to do that. That's because I measured everything on outcomes. But I feel like as I've gotten a little bit more experienced, I do have a way to win now, but it's hard. And the way that I win is when I finish and I say that there's nothing else I could have done. And so that means that, like, the reason that I feel confident about this book that's coming out is I wrote 19 drafts of the book, 4 full rewrites end to end to make the book. I did 6 hours a day, my first 6 hours from 6 a.m. till noon every day for 2 years to get this book to where it is now. And when I was done with the book, I was like, there's nothing else I can do to this. Like, this is it. There's nothing else. Like, I can't make it simpler. I can't make it shorter. I can't cut it. I can't add a visual that I should have added. It's done. And so to the same degree with the presentation that I have, I gave myself this framework of like, okay, well, if I were to speak in front of 10,000 people, I would probably spend a good amount of time prepping the presentation to make sure it was good. I was like, well, I'm gonna speak in front of 500,000. I was like, so I can rationalize spending 50 times the amount of work and effort and time to make this thing exceptional. Because I mean, the numbers are hard to fathom, but that is the numbers. Like if I had a 10,000, that's what I would do. And so it allowed me to take a presentation and, I have 900 slides that I'm going to get through in 60 minutes. And I have now, every single day, I do a full draft of the, I'd say the presentation in my head. And then I do a second run where I say it out loud and I record it. And then after I record it, I play the recording with the slides up and I fix or add every slide where I stumble or there's something that should be there or visual, and I keep going until right now I'm a week and change out, and there's not much else I can do to it. And so I'll still continue to do that from now until the day that it happens, but I probably won't have as many changes because I should just keep nailing it. And then when I get up there, it doesn't matter if the tech doesn't work or if the book shopping page cart, doesn't work or whatever it is, because I'll be able to step off stage and look in the mirror and be like, you did everything you could. And the thing is like, no one else will know that, because I know that like I could not do that. And I probably a lot of people were like, dude, you have so much goodwill. You could probably just say like, here's the book. But I would know. And if I believe what I say I do, which is that I'm the ultimate judge, jury, and executioner of my own self-esteem, then I'm the only person who can say good job or not. And unfortunately, I have incredibly high standards. And so I can either just always feel like a failure because I always fall short of my own standards, or I can create a standard that I willingly and consciously accept, which is that I will do enough work that there is nothing left to be done. And that means that I can also do fewer things, which means I have to be more selective about the things that I choose to do. But when I do them, they will be done well and they will be done right.
They say that true hell is when the person that you are meets the person that you could have been.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, I think we look at sports stars. I'm watching this quarterback on Netflix at the moment, and Patrick Mahomes is just this artist. Yeah. He's a halfway between a warrior and a savant, and an artist and a musician and an everything rolled together, right? And the reason that we love seeing behind the scenes with stuff like that is it is somebody at the absolute zenith of their capacity, and they are putting everything that they can into making this as good as possible. And I think that I sometimes find myself I certainly did before I had the podcast, I was wistful that I have the raw materials to work very hard at things, and I'd never had a pursuit that I could have applied it to.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing. I remember the first time I ever heard Peterson say, work as hard as you can at one thing for a year and see what happens.
Yeah.
And I'd never had a thing that I could work. I could work hard at business, but the line between your inputs and your outcomes is so meandering and messy that I can always excuse away good or bad performances as not being on me. And for the most part, I would take responsibility for the bad ones and not take responsibility for the good ones, because that's how I'm wired. But I never had something that was linear.
Yeah.
Close to linear. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I put an hour in and I get an hour out, or more than an hour out.
Yeah.
And it's direct. And then about 3 years ago, I had this conversation with Dean, my video guy. I was like, I want to turn pro. I read Stephen Pressfield, War of Art, and then I read Turning Pro. So I want to turn pro with the show. What's that mean? what would it mean if I treated this pursuit like an athlete does? So an athlete, they review game tape and they do mindset work, and they've got a sports psychologist and they look at what they eat and they look at what they drink and they go to bed on time and they're hanging around with people that are growth minded and they're getting the right coaches and all the rest. Everything is done in order to facilitate performance in the thing that they say they care about.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody has the opportunity to do that. You just need to define what the thing is. I'm never going to be Patrick Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
I no, but I managed to find my thing and then nearly kill myself in dedication toward it. There's a photo that I put up on my Instagram a little while ago, 2 weeks after I ruptured my Achilles.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I'm in a boot and I've got the laptop on my lap and we've created this arm that'll bring the mic to me because I didn't want to stop doing the podcast because I'd made this commitment. I'm going to turn pro. And for 3 years, we haven't missed a single episode 3 times a week, 3 times a week, 3 times a week for 3 years now. Yeah. And before that, it was 2 a week for a year. And before that, it was 1 a week for a year.
Yeah.
And it just keeps on ramping up. And the opportunity to commit yourself fully to something that you care about is beyond a blessing. And when you do it, the way that you feel once you know that you've worked hard is great. And we said before we started, you got this big thing coming up, which I'm super proud of you for managing to achieve, even though it hasn't happened yet. The difference between being nervous and being excited before you do something is your level of preparation in advance of it. If you step out on stage or in front of 500,000 people on a webinar, which is the craziest sentence I've ever said, if you step out on stage in front of 500,000 people and you've done absolutely everything, there's nothing to fear.